future and Ghana being a wasteland, I ask myself, what are we doing about the next generation? For a country whose president thinks about the next generation and not the next election, why is it so difficult for us to deal with this menace? Well, this morning, we're about to hear from the young ones. Yaira Nala Tioko Ato is at the Accra College of Education Demonstration School, and Mitchell Elikem Kwekuaware is at DPS International. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good. So let's talk about Galamsey. I mean, what do you make of it? I'm sure you've been listening to the conversation even as you've been driven to school and all of that. What do you hear happening?
What is happening, you said?
Yes.
What is happening is that Galamsey destroys our land, our trees and our rivers, which serves as most livelihood for the villagers and animals, for the villagers that live there.
Good. How about you, Mitchell?
Well, thank you for inviting me here today. What I have noticed about illegal mining in Ghana is that although it has policies against it which make it illegal, those policies are not enforced in the manner they should. You hear statistics of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people taking part in illegal mining. You hear about what it's doing to our water bodies, what it's doing to pregnant women. You hear about what effect it has on the drinking water we use in the communities and the bathing water, and you can just tell that not enough is being done about Galamsey.
So, Mitchell, for many of us who've been talking about this, for many of us who are old, we discuss these issues. But for you who are young, how do you think this menace, illegal mining, affects you?
It affects us because most water we drink, the companies that produce them, it comes from the rivers of the forests. And when they measure the water to see the turbidity, it's usually always beyond the decimal point, aka beyond purification.
Good. Yaira, yes, how about you, Mitchell?
The effect I think that Galamsey has on we the youth is that they are spoiling our future in the country. Because if you're going to spend your time growing up in Ghana, you have to think about what you are going to have, what resources are left for you when you are 40 or 50, what resources will be left for your children and your grandchildren as they begin to grow up. And even if you are to look 20 years in the past or 30 years in the past, conditions are not the same then as they are now. And you can just tell that Galamsey is quickly regressing our land resources. And so as a youth, as a teenager, I am concerned for what's going to happen to Ghana in the next few years. Talks of us having to import water in the next 15 or so years because of how badly our water bodies have been polluted. Things like that, when I think about it, it almost makes me weep for the country. Because we're in such a state of dismay that we don't know what to do now. Because all the policies that are being made aren't being rightfully enforced. And so, I cry for Ghana.
You cry for Ghana, but I'm sure you may have heard, in the past, all the things that we talk about doing. You've actually alluded to the fact that we have laws, unfortunately, we are not enforcing them. When you hear the things that we say, we would do this, we would do that, do they bring you excitement and hope that your future has been taken care of?
Not really. Because the president there, his system has failed us.
Why do you say the system has failed us?
Because that system has been here for 8 years. It's been here for over 8 years, so. But still, it has done nothing for us. Last year or last month, the problem was smuggling. Now it's Galamsey. All this applies to us and people that are not from our country. So I say to the president, please, when are you going to do this? When are you going to face this and stop doing your election thing?
How about you, Mitchell?
Well, I think that in every dark tunnel, the ending has light. So, I think that as we go forward as a country, And if we decide that we are going to start enforcing our laws properly, I believe that we could, if not eradicate it completely, we could massively reduce the impact it's going to have on us.
Great. I mean, this is what I want you to do. And Yaya was talking about the president. I want you to address our leaders, okay? Because they are responsible. In fact, all of us are responsible for your future. And unfortunately, the environment has been destroyed. I want you to tell them what you want them to do. What you want them to do to safeguard your future.
They should enforce more laws. They should also. I've heard that police samples that have been exposed to Galamsey. So since they are bringing those places back, the policemen and soldiers go there to protect and see if anybody will come. But the problem of that is they only come and work for a few hours. I saw that on Joy News, the TV show.
Okay. Mitchell.
Okay. Well, to our leaders, as you are growing old, do not think that you are exonerated from whatever problems may come in the future. Because the future of Galamsey and the effects is not too distant. You may think that you may be dead and gone by the time it catches up to you in the cities, in your big houses, in your offices. But you are not exonerated from the problems. To the chiefs in the communities that give land to people to operate on these barren lands, to those chiefs, I say you should do your research, find out what exactly is going to happen to that land, whether you will be able to replenish the land, whether you're able to practice reforestation, and see whether what you are doing is going to rather benefit the community instead of destroying the community.
Great. This morning we're joined by Yaya Nala Tioko Ato, who's at the Accra College of Education Demonstration School, and Mitchell Elikem Kwekwawari at DPS International. Of course, we're talking about illegal mining and what young ones think about illegal mining and what they would want done. When we return after these messages, we'll be concluding the conversation with Yaya and Mitchell, who are telling us what they expect to be done for them when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
My name is...
Share it with us.
Okay. Hello, everybody listening. My name is Yaya Nala Tioko Ato. My presentation is about Galamsey. Galamsey is the term we gave illegal mining because it has been such a problem in our country. I'm guessing you might be asking, what are the harmful effects of Galamsey? Galamsey destroys trees, and trees give us oxygen, or O2, which helps us breathe, and they are also nature's natural air fresheners. So you cannot just cut them down willy-nilly and not plant them back. I also heard when we were on break that we pretend to plant trees, which is something I was very surprised at. Deforestation is a big problem, and we should also stop it. Galamsey also destroys our water bodies, which is a bad idea for aquaculture. Aquaculture is the raising of aquatic animals for food and the planting and harvesting of aquatic plants for food as well. So in summary for that, aquaculture gets destroyed. And as for the communities that live there, their clean water gets destroyed. That also may be their only source of clean water, which is a bad idea. Galamsey also destroys ecosystem. Animals in the forest drink from there, and that same water, the trees use it. So if you destroy the water bodies, the entire ecosystem gets destroyed. As when I was in class 5, a book from there said, a sentence from there said, if there was ever going to be a third world war, it would be about water. Plus, the water from those rivers that get polluted, all the water companies, Werner, Voltic, etc., they use that water. They actually purify it and then put it in a bottle for us to drink. But the turbidity of the water, if it exceeds a certain decimal, it is beyond purification, so we do not get enough water to drink. Turbidity is the impurification of water shown by a certain figure. For an example of that water not getting to us, one time when I visited Cape Coast, our hotel, we didn't get water for 2 days. At least our part of the hotel. This is because Galamsey dirties our water so much that not even very highly advanced machines can purify them. Hopefully in the future we have more machines to help us do this thing. As a wise person once said, if there is a big problem, you need a lot of little solutions attacking that problem from every angle. And as for the land, the farmlands that we use get destroyed. As in, tree roots check erosion. They keep the soil steady and firm so it doesn't get washed away, so farmers can use the land. But because of Galamsey, those trees get destroyed, and so do the farmers' livelihoods. And it also affects road networks, because one time when I was watching Joy News, I saw a Galamsey operation happening that was closer than even 1 meter, when the rule implies when mining you go beyond 50 meters of a road. This, I'm not sure if Galamsey does loud noises or so, because if it did, it would disrupt the road a lot. But basically, as we said, Galamsey is just a term for illegal mining. So police, I'm sending that message to you. As for my message to our leaders, I would say enforce the rules that happen. Check, and the chiefs that allow people, please check in with the leaders like the president, the general, etc. Because you cannot just say that they have a license, you can mine away. No, you cannot say that. You have to check if the papers are real, and you have to check in with the leaders like that. You have to check in and ensure that those lost trees are replanted. If they are not replanted, it is a loss of land. And chiefs, I know Galamsey, yes, gold is part of there, it accounts for 40% of gold production, which is sad to see. But if you are ever going to allow Galamsey or mining in your areas, give away a small portion of land. You cannot just say, hey, okay, you're mining, you can cut down half the forest, I don't care. You cannot just say that. You have to give away like a small portion so they can do that. But also ensure that the holes they dig, they are covered, and that all the trees that they cut down, they are replanted. Thank you.
Thank you, Yaira, and you've said it all. A lot has to be done, and the effects are there for all of us to engage in mining. It should be responsible mining, like you say, so that after every hole that was dug in search of gold be covered and trees replanted. Let me bring Kekeli in at this point.
Peace, favor.
Let me bring Kekeli in at this point to tell us, what she thinks are the effects of illegal mining on her future, that of her friends, and what she would want done. Thank you very much for joining us, Kekeli. Good morning. Okay. We'll get to, Kekeli shortly, so you're able to tell us, what the effects are on illegal mining for herself and her generation. But, Mitch, Na's done the presentation, and listening to her, she makes that point that, look, we cannot sit down unconcerned to allow this to happen. What would you say finally?
What I have to say is that our leaders don't educate us enough about what is being done, what is going on, and what is to be done to prevent us from furthering damaging ourselves. I think that our leaders are very careless in the way that they try and educate the public. There are no proper statistics. There is no proper information backing those statistics. All they tell us is that there is a problem with illegal mining and that they have put policies in place. All these policies they claim to have put in place, none of them show any evidence work. You drive down a road and the water that you saw 2 years ago as blue, you see it as yellow now. I think our leaders have failed, and I think that they need to educate the public even more when it comes to what illegal mining is doing and how we as the youth can help to stop it.
And I like the part that you say how you, the youth, can help to stop it, which means that for you also, you believe you can play a role in dealing with this.
Yes.
Okay.
What we have to do is that mainly illegal mining comes about as a source of the high unemployment rate in Ghana, So if our leaders could provide even university graduates with substantial jobs, we wouldn't go back to these communities with land which is already bare, beaten and barren, and destroy them even further in search for gold.
Great. Thank you very, very, very much. Mitchell Alikem Kwekuawari at DPS International, and to you, Yayira Na Latioko Ato. Yes, you want to make a point finally, Mitchell?
Yes, thank you. In the motion of good health, DPS International is in fact holding a family health walk on the 21st of September 2024. Okay. Everyone is invited, so come along with your brothers, your sisters, uncles, aunts and parents to DPS International on the 21st of September for the family health walk.
Thank you very, very much, Mitchell. But let me just get on to Zoom now, where Kekeli is. Please hold on, both of you. So, Kekeli, I'm sure you've heard your colleagues make the point. How do you think Galamsey impacts you and your, colleagues, and what do you want done to deal with it?
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, my main issue about Galamsey is the threat of water pollution and the fact that there are traces of heavy metals used in extracting the gold from our water bodies already being found in our systems, and the mass deforestation that will come as a result because of the clearing of land for mining. One of the main environmental impacts of mass deforestation and leaving the Galamsey pits open is the overall landscape destruction. So as mass forests are being cut down, as pits are being left open, we're leaving our country a barren wasteland, clearing out the once luscious forests that we could have used for ecotourism, or even the forests that serve as a means of oxygen to the people in the surrounding areas in our country as a whole. We are living with the threat of our country's air quality going down in the long run and making our country unattractive for potential investors in the future, which could harm our country as a whole and create a huge burden on the youth of the future, as they would have to figure out a new way to build up the country from scratch. That's my issue. And I feel like our leaders aren't cranking down enough on the issue. They mainly treat it as if it's a situation that will
going
fix
to
itself,
get elected.
but it will not until our leaders actually
They
crank
just use
down
it as a
on the
tool. They
illegal
don't
mining
see it.
activities and find a way to cut it off entirely. The situation will never be fixed. And one thing that really irks me is the politicization of the entire issue. This isn't a matter of political parties. This is a matter of people's lives being put at stake. And I don't think this is an issue that should be solved by one political party. This should be a bipartisan situation. We should have our government come together as one to crank down on the issue, to cut out all aggressors, to cut out people who are participating in these activities within our very government, and make sure that the situation is resolved before it becomes an irreversible situation.
Thank you very, very much, Kekeli. You're making a point. Now, you said what about elections?
As for the elections, for what Kekeli said, she said, I said that it's true. The leaders just use it as a tool to get elected. They don't see it as a problem. They just see it as a tool. That's why if they get elected, they don't even do it. They just say some stuff and then they don't enforce what they said.
Thank you very, very much. And this is a word to the wise. These are young ones telling our leaders that a lot of the things they say, they just don't mean them. They just want to be elected and business as usual. If you lead and you hear these, how would you feel? That the very people whom you say you're fighting for, they have seen that all you're thinking about is elections. Thank you, Yahira Nala Tioko Ato, who's at Accra College of Education Demonstration School, and thank you also Mitchell Elikem Kwekwo Warrior DPS International, and to you, Kekeli, for making time to join us.